and further I get into this series, the less likely I think there's a way to make this spoiler free, because Hi guys, it's April, and I'm going to do this review the same way I do all of my other reviews. At least I'm going to attempt to do it the same way I do all of my other reviews, and that's to have the non-spoilery section up front, followed by the spoiled-filled dump afterwards. And of course, I will let you know when that transition happens. But this is volume 10 of Girl from the Other Side by Nagabe, and so there are a lot of spoilers for everything that came before this. And because of some of the things that happened in this manga right here that I really want to talk about, I don't know how long the non-spoiler section is going to be. So there is that. Now, Girl from the Other Side, I have full reviews over the first part of the series and then a couple of the other releases of the volumes before this one. I will link them down below and up above in case you are interested. But this is essentially the story about a young girl named Shiva who is living with an outsider who she calls teacher. The whole concept is that there are insiders and outsiders. The insiders are the normal human beings. The outsiders are creatures that have developed because of something that is going on in this realm. Don't want to spoil it too much in case you accidentally found your way here. At this point, I recommend you go and you watch some of those earlier videos. However, if you're here to talk about or learn about this volume right here, here we go. So volume 10 takes place immediately after volume 9. We have Shiva, who has turned into a dark child after escaping that last panel. That last panel in volume 9, we take off from there. In this volume, we get to see more of Teacher's past. He starts to remember a lot of the things that led him up to becoming a dark child and how it all got there. And then we start to get some revelations of the relationship between Shiva and Teacher. And that is literally all I can tell you before I start getting into spoilers. I did like this volume. There was a lot of very heart-wrenching moments because of what we learned about Teacher's past. And then there was also heartbreaking moments because of what we learned about Shiva and what Shiva now is. Something about this series is just, it's always heartbreaking. It came out at the right time when we're dealing with everything going on in the world, so I relate to it a little bit more. And then this volume right here just pulls in every single heartstring that exists. Even though it's not very big, it just, I have to find a way to bounce back from this. And I believe there's only one volume after this. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that's what I've heard, that we've got one more volume to come. But this volume leaves on another cliffhanger that has left me a little bit distraught because it's implied that something happens, but it could be a something that isn't quite the something of the something that it's trying to imply. Yes, because I'm really hoping the implying isn't the implying that just got implied. And that's pretty much all I can do about talking about this one. At this point, if you're this far in the series, you've probably already read this book, and that's why you're on this video. I mean, because it's got the same amazing art style, it's got the same creepy feel, it's just all kinds of wonderful. And if you are here, I really want to talk to you about the actual contents of this manga and things that have happened. If you haven't read it yet, go read it. What are you waiting for? You need to pick it up now. I will be your emotional support to come back to me if you need a hug, because I kind of do. This is the spoiler part. If you haven't picked up on that yet, the big reveal in this story is the fact that Shiva was actually always a dark child, but when Teacher had started to meet his demise, she had showed up, given a part of herself to him, made him a dark child, and in the process took his soul and became the child Shiva. So technically, Shiva and teacher are kind of one and the same. They are both human and they are both dark child. The dark child being the original who made him a dark child, he now has a piece of. And then the human bit, the soul bit, is him, but part of him is now in the dark child. Well, had been in the dark child until at the very end of the last volume, she had given it back and he remembered things. So they're through this whole process of events, they have pretty much become parts of each other, almost two beings of the same, if that makes sense. And it's almost devastating in its own right, because I had so many other theories of what Shiva was going to be that I didn't quite see this one coming the way it came. I like it. I'm not mad about it. But then we get that last panel. We get that snap. We get that last page where we don't see anything but some scenery in that word. And I am hoping I'm really hoping he didn't do something that is irreversible. I'm hoping it just seemed like maybe he snapped her, but in reality, he redirected in some way, because the revelation of all this brought up a lot of anger in him. And it wasn't good. And I'm hoping that snap was not a bad snap. If you know what I mean. It's so weird doing reviews on just one volume of manga at a time, because while there are, say, 100 and some pages in these things, as I show you the back, because of the way these stories are told, there's only so much story to talk about before we get the next volume. And here it was more of connecting both of the characters together, both teacher and Shiva. And they're connected so beautifully. And now they're at war with themselves. I need the next volume. What do I do with myself now? Leave me your comments down below on your experience with this current volume. Also, correct me if I'm wrong about there only being one more volume after this. Talk to me down below. I need emotional support. I need you guys. Please, please, please. Otherwise, if you want to see more content like this, subscribe down below, hit that bell, do all of those things to get all of those notifications, and I heart your beautiful faces. Bye.